Well, good morning. Gotta have my cuppa, right? Hope you're all doing well. I wanted to touch on a controversial subject. Do you believe in ghosts or that people from the other side can send you a message, a warning, or you can create it if you want to? If you believe in that stuff, you'll see it everywhere, kind of thing, right? So we bought this house built in 1950. The person that owned it passed away. Her and her husband built it for themselves, so it's only had them in here, their children, if they had any, I don't really know. If I believed in ghosts, like believed in ghosts, and gosh, I don't know how to explain it. Do I believe in ghosts? Sometimes I'll say I do, sometimes I'll say not really. But things happen that you're kind of like, And what I'm getting to is there's a I don't know if you could see it off the camera, but there's a picture up there of my grandparents. Right next to it is a little vase with a little thing of my dad's ashes. It's a little like container. So it's my dad's parents and his ashes right next to it. And the other day I was walking down the stairs, just this week, walking down the stairs. The stairs are right behind here, right? So I was walking, they're not on that are on this wall. They're across the hall and down the stairs. And I was walking down the stairs and we heard this like crash, like boom, something fell. We're walking around the whole house looking to see what fell. And I walked into this room, looked around, didn't see anything, started to walk out. I had the heater sitting in this room, and right next to it was that picture frame. It knocked over my dad's ashes, and the picture itself fell down. Nothing else, just that. There's vases up there. There's another picture frame right there. There's all these things that are right on the edge that could have fallen over. No, just the picture of my grandparents that tipped over my dad's ashes. So it kind of freaked me out, and I was like, is he trying to tell me something? Are they trying to tell me something? I don't recall meeting them ever in my life. Maybe as an infant, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they were gone before I was born, but I'm not sure of that fact. So that brings me back to, do you believe in that stuff? For instance, for me, I would always say, no, not really. I don't think there's ghosts around. But then when I think back on, like through my life, I did. I remember thinking that ghosts visited me and all that stuff. And when that show came out, The Ghost Whisperer, I was like, oh, it could happen. They say when we're younger, we're more open to things like that. And then as we age, we push that stuff away and stop seeing it. Kind of like the bell. Remember the bell in Polar Express? That scene made me cry. I'm just going all over the place today. But at the end, when he's holding the bell and he hears it ringing, and then his little sister hears it ringing, but his parents go, oh, sorry, buddy, it's a broken bell. And he can't figure out why they can't hear it ringing. And then at the end, he says, as we grew up, even my sister couldn't hear it ring anymore, but I always could hear it. Crying. I cry at that scene every time. Every time that scene comes on, we watch it every Christmas, I have to walk away. Or I just sit there and I cry. Every time. Because you believe. Anyway. So there's times that I say, am I a believer? I don't know. Like, for instance, let's go back to this house. 1950. Built in 1950. So, of course, I don't know how long it takes a house to settle. Things are settling all the time. We had a new roof put on and all that stuff. So I don't know how long it takes for a house to settle. But I will tell you this. I'm in my bedroom, which is next door to this room. There's nobody here. My office is over there. There's a hallway. The bathroom's on the other side of the hallway. Then you walk down the stairs to the downstairs. There have been times, because sometimes my husband works away from home, where I was here by myself. And I would be in the bedroom, and I would hear somebody coming up the stairs. Not like a creak here or there. It was literally like, it sounded like somebody was going on one step, then the next step, then the next step. And I was like, because they all creak, right? So it's like, eek, eek, eek. And I was like, I know there's nobody home. It's just me. Doors are locked. He's not here. And then it would stop. And then sometimes I would be in my bedroom. And in this room, the floorboards run this way. And in this room, it would sound like somebody stepped on the floorboard or walked around or whatever. And I said to my daughter and my husband that if I believed, like truly believed, that the ghost of this woman was here, I could definitely show proof. Like if those people came, with their sensors and stuff, they would be here. They would totally hear stuff. Totally. And be like, oh yeah, she's here. But I don't. Like I know that it's an old house and it's creaking. Maybe the house is alive. Amityville Horror. No. Nothing bad's happened in this house. Anything where I felt like uncomfortable, freaked out by anything. There's been times where I'm downstairs and I can hear somebody like moving around up here. I say somebody. The floor's creaking or whatever. And sometimes I'll yell out to her. I won't say her name out loud here. Let's just say it's Lori. And I'll say, hey, Lori, come on down here and watch TV with me. In that sense, I don't really believe that she's here and walking around. But I do believe in signs, like when you get certain signs and you get a feeling, when that feeling happens inside, do you know? So when that happened, and I put the frame back up and I picked up the vase with my dad's ashes, I kind of sat there for a minute, like, do you know? Because again, let's go back to this. If, let's say, I hit that wall on the other side, like I hit the wall, or I walked right there and it tipped over and fell, I would be like, okay, well, somehow my motion did that. But like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff up there. And the only two things was the picture frame and his ashes. And it gave me the chilly willies. Like I was like, oh, what's that about? Here's another thing. And this goes back to my childhood. I don't know if anybody remembers, there was a movie about Houdini's life. I know this is like, what are you talking about? But Houdini, I'm sure people know who Houdini is, but just in case you don't, he was like this magician that did all these crazy tricks, kind of like I forget his name, Chris. He's a magician. They're not really magicians. They're called something else. Houdini and his wife started this journey of showing how fortune tellers are frauds. Like all these, where you go to the thing and they bring ghosts back and people talk and people are believing it and giving them money, and kind of like Whoopi Goldberg in the movie Ghost, which she really does hear them. Anyway, so Houdini and his wife, they started showing how fortune tellers were lying to people, and that they would show them like, look, under the table there's this thing, or look over here there's a wire that's pulling. So they showed all the ways that fortune tellers pretend to know what's going on. And according to the movie, like I believe that part is true, that they actually did do that, where they started going to fortune tellers and showing them as frauds. So, according to the movie, I think they were always looking for a true fortune teller, like someone like Whoopi Goldberg that actually did hear people, or Whoopi Goldberg's character, that actually did hear people from the other side. That was like their quest. They wanted to find someone that truly saw that. So he told his wife that should he die, the way she'll know that it's really him is that the person will sing this song or say these lyrics, which is Rosabelle, sweet Rosabelle, you are my something, or I can't remember all the words. But after he died, because it was I want to say he had appendicitis and he couldn't get up and get out of this tank, so he died in the water tank. And after that, she literally went to every fortune teller and tried to see if anybody was legit. This is all in the movie. I don't know how legit this all is, but in the end of the movie, she's at a fortune teller, and this is like, I don't know, 30 years later after he passed. She's an older woman now, and she's sitting there at the fortune teller, and the fortune teller says, I'm getting something, but it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what it means. And Houdini's wife says, well, tell me, what is it? And then the fortune teller starts going, Rosabelle, sweet Rosabelle. And that's kind of like how she realizes that this person is for real and that you can contact the other side. Chills. So that I watched a long time ago and I loved it. And I was like, in that sense, I was like, so maybe you can, right? And then I remember being in high school. My friend had a Ouija board up in the attic. We went up to the attic and we were going to go and, call up spirits or whatever. We had it all set up. And her grandmother came up the stairs and she just freaked out that we had that board out. And she was like, ay, Dios mío. And she just started yelling at us in Spanish. And we had to, like leave it and get out. And then we had this whole lecture. We went downstairs and we all drank tea. And she told us not to do that because you can contact the other side and you don't want to do that. It'll release spirits. And so I've always had like that around me, from the time that I was young till now. But again, like I said, there are days where I'm like, yeah, this is for real. And then there are days where I'm like, ah. And after that happened, it kind of brought me back to all that and started thinking about it again, to all the different times in my life where I believed. What about you? Comment below. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in you can contact the other side? Do you believe that the other side can send you messages? Do you believe in any of that stuff? I'm curious. Or comment below if you've had any experiences that are similar to mine, that you believe something happened, and what was it? And how did you feel? How did you feel? Because I think that has a lot to do with it. I think it's all, how they say, like sometimes you're walking somewhere and like the hair on the back of your neck stands up, which I don't understand that saying, but it is a saying. I guess it's like it gives you the freaky jeekies. That's my saying. Okay, so I'm off. I'll see you next week. Like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you next week.